Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson. We're continuing our study of Rebekah as part of our larger study of matriarchs, and we want to talk about the birth of their children, Isaac and Rebekah's children. It is a story about Rebekah, really, and we read about this in Genesis chapter 25, verses 19 through 26. The birth of Jacob and Esau is recorded before the episode with Abimelech for reasons that we talked about last time. But it is out of chronological order, sort of. But it's not out of narrative order because we've just had the generations of Ishmael, and now we're having the generations. These are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. So we get the account of his children being born. Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel the Aramean, to Padan Aram, the sister of Laban the Aramean, to be his wife. And the Lord Isaac, prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was barren. And the Lord answered him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. But the children struggled together within her, and she said, "If it is so, why then am I like this?" So she went to inquire of the Lord. And Yahweh said to her, the Lord said to her, "Two nations are in your womb. Two people shall be separated from your body. One people shall be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." When her days were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. She didn't know she was going to have twins. She could have understood that perhaps physically from the sensation of there being two, maybe, or from what God had said. But she delivered two children. Um, Now, the first came forth red all over like a hairy garment. Just a beautiful bouncing baby boy, red and hairy all over. They named him Esau, which means red. That's imaginative. And afterward, his brother came forth with his hand holding onto Esau's heel. And so they named him Jacob. And Isaac was 60 years old when she gave birth to them. So it's almost like a surprise ending in this account, because it almost sounds like until you get there that they didn't have a baby for a year or so, and Isaac prayed, and God said, "Here, have some children." No, 20 years later, almost 20 years, they were trying to have children and dealt with their infertility for 20 years. Um, Jacob, the name Jacob means literally the guy that trips you up. It's the guy that holds onto your heel or trips you up. It means a trickster. So that's what they named their boys, Red and Trip. Um, anyway, the one thing I want us to see about this passage is that it is Rebecca's passage. Rebecca is the one delivering these children. Rebecca is the one who has the life of two nations inside her. Rebecca is the one experiencing the struggle of these two children in the womb. I think that's kind of creepy to think about. Um, and uh, and oh, heavens, what was that experience for her? The thing that she says to Yahweh, it's interesting that we have this woman speaking to Yahweh and Yahweh giving her a verbal answer, giving her prophecy, delivering the message to her, not to her husband, but to her directly. In the way he spoke to Hagar. He spoke to Hagar through his angel. He spoke to Rebecca person to person. Um, so anyway, it's difficult to translate what she said. If it it could be translated, if it's going to be this way, why? Why do I exist? I mean, what's the point? Why did I? It could, I don't. It's not. I'm not. There's so many ways. Um, and many translations try to add a word here or there, like my New American Standard. Then why am I this way? Um, maybe it's just a cry of despair. I mean, and God explains it to her. And God tells her ahead of time that the older is going to serve the younger. God said so when these two children were in her womb. So later on, when she advocates for Jacob over Esau, even when she pulls things that she should not have pulled. Let us remember this. This is not just straight up preference. God told her before the boys were born that the younger one was the child of promise, not the older one. Okay. We'll talk about those things that she did next time. Thank you for joining us for another 5 good minutes with the Word.